Imagine a world consumed by conflict, where hope seems lost, but a glimmer of light emerges through the tireless efforts of organizations like the United Nations and countless NGOs. The UN mediates ceasefires, protects civilians and provides humanitarian assistance, while NGOs deliver essential aid, medical care and psychological support, often reaching areas inaccessible to larger organizations. Coordination between the UN and NGOs is crucial for effective aid delivery, despite challenges like bureaucracy, funding constraints and security risks. The UN, often called the world's peacekeeper, shoulders immense responsibility in war zones. The UN Security Council grapples with geopolitical complexities, attempting to find peaceful solutions. On the ground, UN agencies like UNHCR and UNICEF provide life-saving aid and protection. The World Food Programme combats hunger, often in extremely challenging environments. These agencies form the backbone of the UN's humanitarian response, working tirelessly to alleviate suffering. NGOs, a diverse and dynamic force, play a crucial role in complementing the UN's efforts. Some NGOs, like Doctors Without Borders, provide impartial medical care in conflict zones. Others, like Human Rights Watch, document human rights abuses and advocate for justice. Some NGOs work on specific issues like landmine clearance or child soldier rehabilitation. Their work, often unseen and underappreciated, is crucial for enabling communities to rebuild and heal. The UN system, with its myriad agencies, can sometimes feel like a labyrinthine bureaucracy. The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, plays a crucial role in coordinating the humanitarian response. OCHA works closely with NGOs, facilitating dialogue and fostering partnerships. Despite challenges, the UN system provides a vital framework for international cooperation. The key lies in constantly striving to improve coordination and streamline processes. NGOs, with their diverse mandates, add complexity to the humanitarian landscape. Some are large international organizations, while others are small grassroots groups. Effective coordination between NGOs and the UN is essential for maximizing the impact of humanitarian aid. The diversity of the NGO landscape enriches the humanitarian response, ensuring aid reaches those most in need. Building and maintaining trust and collaboration between the UN and NGOs is essential for effective humanitarian aid. Trust is built through open dialogue, shared experiences, and mutual respect. UN agencies must appreciate the flexibility and local knowledge of NGOs. NGOs must understand the constraints faced by the UN. Informal interactions and shared training programs strengthen these bonds. The success of humanitarian aid depends on this constant exchange and recognition of each actor's vital role. Coordination in the humanitarian field is often compared to conducting an orchestra. The sheer number of actors involved, each with their own agendas, complicates the picture. Overcoming these challenges requires a shift from competition to collaboration, where the common goal of alleviating suffering takes precedence. Despite challenges, there are inspiring examples of UN-NGO collaboration yielding remarkable results. In Haiti, the UN and NGOs coordinated emergency relief after the 2010 earthquake. In Syria, they established safe corridors for aid delivery to besieged areas. In refugee camps, they provide education, healthcare, and livelihood support. These examples demonstrate that when collaboration flourishes, humanitarian aid can truly make a difference. Aid workers often operate in dangerous environments, facing threats from armed groups and political hurdles. Governments might restrict access or manipulate aid flows for political gain. Despite these risks, the UN and NGOs continue their work, driven by the belief in alleviating suffering. Their efforts offer a glimmer of hope in the midst of despair, a testament to the power of human compassion. Afghanistan, scarred by decades of conflict, stands as a stark reminder of the complexities of humanitarian intervention. The echoes of war reverberate through its valleys, a haunting testament to the human cost of conflict. The 2021 US withdrawal left a void quickly filled by the Taliban, plunging the country into further uncertainty. Bustling marketplaces silenced overnight, vibrant streets now patrolled by armed militants. The need for humanitarian assistance surged as the economy teetered on the brink of collapse. Navigating the complexities of negotiating with the Taliban and ensuring aid worker safety became increasingly difficult. Despite obstacles, the UN and NGOs remained committed to delivering life-saving aid. Amidst the sprawling refugee camps on the outskirts of Kabul, a young girl named Fatima embodies the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable hardship. Orphaned by a bomb blast that ripped through her village, Fatima found herself alone, adrift in a sea of displaced families, all bearing the scars of conflict. Imagine Fatima, her eyes wide with fear and uncertainty, clinging to a tattered doll, the only possession she has left from her former life. The UN Refugee Agency, UNHCR, working in collaboration with local NGOs, registered Fatima, providing her with a tent, blankets, and essential supplies, but it was the human connection, the kindness of aid workers, that truly touched her life. Imagine a female aid worker, her face etched with empathy, gently talking to Fatima, offering her comfort and a sense of security. A local NGO supported by UNICEF enrolled Fatima in a makeshift school within the camp, a haven of learning and normalcy amidst the chaos. There she learned to read and write, her thirst for knowledge a beacon of hope for the future. Imagine Fatima, her face illuminated by a smile, sitting cross-legged on a dusty floor, carefully tracing letters in a notebook, her dreams taking flight with every stroke. Fatima's story, though marked by tragedy, is ultimately one of resilience and hope. It illustrates the transformative power of education, the importance of psychosocial support, and the vital role played by the UN and NGOs in providing not just material aid, but also a sense of hope and a path towards a brighter future. The Syrian civil war, a complex and devastating conflict that has raged for over a decade, presents a stark example of the challenges of delivering humanitarian aid. The conflict, with its shifting alliances and brutal sieges, has created one of the world's worst humanitarian crises, displacing millions within Syria and forcing millions more to seek refuge. For the UN and NGOs, accessing those most in need has often been perilous. Negotiating access with the Syrian government and armed opposition groups, each with their own agendas, has required a delicate balancing act. Imagine a map of Syria, crisscrossed with front lines, safe corridors, and besieged areas, a visual testament to the complexity of the conflict and the challenges of aid delivery. Despite the risks, the UN and NGOs have remained committed to alleviating the suffering of the Syrian people. Mobile medical teams have risked their lives to provide healthcare. Education programs, often conducted in underground shelters, have offered children a semblance of normalcy. These acts of courage and compassion underscore the importance of principled humanitarian action. In a small village nestled amidst the olive groves of Lebanon's Bekaa Valley, a group of Syrian refugee women gather in a community center, their faces etched with a mixture of sadness and determination. They are participating in a livelihoods program supported by the UN Refugee Agency, UNHCR, and implemented by a local NGO aimed at empowering women and helping them rebuild their lives in exile. Imagine the hum of sewing machines, the clatter of knitting needles, the soft murmur of voices as the women share their stories and support each other. Some women are learning to sew, creating colorful garments and intricate embroidery, their nimble fingers transforming thread into a source of income and a symbol of hope. Others are cultivating small vegetable gardens, transforming barren patches of land into a source of sustenance and a reminder of their connection to the land. The program provides not only skills training and income-generating opportunities, but also a sense of community, a space for healing and empowerment. Imagine the women, their faces illuminated by smiles, proudly displaying their creations, their spirits lifted by a sense of purpose and accomplishment. The success of this program, replicated in various forms across Lebanon and Jordan, highlights the importance of investing in long-term solutions, empowering refugees to become self-reliant and fostering their resilience in the face of adversity. It demonstrates that even amidst the devastation of war, seeds of hope can be sown, nurturing the human spirit and paving the way for a brighter future. The stories from war zones like Afghanistan and Syria are not mere headlines. They remind us of our shared humanity and our world's profound interconnectedness. When bombs fall, it's easy to turn away, to shield ourselves from the pain. Yet empathy is crucial in these dark moments as an active force for change. We must listen to those who lived through war, who lost loved ones and homes, and who show resilience and hope. These stories challenge our complacency, reminding us peace is justice and equality. They underscore our shared responsibility to work for a world where hope triumphs over fear. The work of the UN and NGOs in war zones is often described as a band-aid solution, a temporary measure to alleviate suffering in the midst of ongoing crisis. While it is true that humanitarian aid cannot address the root causes of conflict, it can create the space for peace to take root. By providing food, shelter, medical care, and education, these organizations offer a lifeline to those struggling to survive, preventing further suffering and creating the conditions for communities to begin to heal and rebuild. However, true peace requires more than just meeting immediate needs. It demands a long-term commitment to addressing the underlying causes of conflict, from poverty and inequality to political oppression and human rights abuses. This means investing in sustainable development, promoting good governance, strengthening the rule of law, and fostering dialogue and reconciliation among divided communities. It also means holding perpetrators of war crimes accountable, ensuring that justice is served and that impunity does not become the norm. The pursuit of peace cannot be separated from the pursuit of justice, for without accountability, the cycle of violence will continue. Investing in sustainable peace requires a paradigm shift, a move away from short-term reactive interventions towards a more proactive, preventative approach. It requires a recognition that true security comes not from military might, but from human security, from ensuring that all people have access to the basic necessities of life, from promoting tolerance and understanding, and from creating a world where differences are resolved through dialogue, not violence. In a world often saturated with news of conflict and despair, it is easy to feel overwhelmed, to succumb to a sense of powerlessness. Yet, each of us has a role to play in supporting the work of the UN and NGOs, in amplifying the voices of those yearning for peace, and in building a more just and compassionate world. Silence in the face of injustice is complicity. We must speak out against human rights abuses, challenge warmongering rhetoric, and demand accountability from our leaders. We must hold our governments responsible for upholding international law, for providing adequate funding for humanitarian aid, and for pursuing peaceful solutions to conflict. Beyond political action, there are countless ways to make a difference. Supporting reputable humanitarian organizations, whether through financial contributions or volunteering our time and skills, can have a direct impact on the lives of those affected by conflict. Educating ourselves and others about the root causes of conflict, promoting intercultural understanding, and challenging prejudice and discrimination in our own communities are all essential steps towards building a more peaceful world. The stories we have explored in this essay, while highlighting the devastating consequences of conflict, also illuminate the extraordinary courage and resilience of the human spirit. They remind us that even in the darkest of times, hope persists and that change is possible. Let us heed the call to action, to stand in solidarity with those yearning for peace, and to work tirelessly towards a world where the echoes of war are replaced by the sweet symphony of peace.